Hello, my name is Dr. Robert Urban, and I'm coming at you a little bit as a physician and a lot as a person that has experienced type 2 diabetes and reversed it 3 years ago and kept it away and thought you might be interested in this curated information. But first of all, I am telling, not selling you anything. For I see from time to time people on social media who are searching for answers to chronic illnesses like type 2 diabetes. So what should you start doing? What can you do right? Well, first of all, let me explain that you may have been to your doctor, gave you a diagnosis, and it gave you something like a prescription, and that prescription puts you on medication, and you're not sure if that's going to take away the type 2 diabetes or just make it better or what. And we know that historically, medications, pharmacological solutions are not all that ideal for type 2 diabetes, not putting them down because it's a simple solution. So you may want to think about, well, I'll just follow what my doctor told me. And indeed, before you make any changes to your healthcare regimen, even my suggestions, which are even for only information, for purposes only, consult your healthcare provider first. But getting back to, so what should you do? Well, in finance, it's called the critical path. In human resources, it's called key man. And in disease, it's called cause. What is the cause of type 2 diabetes and, for that matter, chronic illnesses? Well, they've recently thought that there are those that say that 93% of chronic illnesses like depression, high blood pressure, coronary artery disease, Parkinsonism, skin rashes like eczema, obesity, and on it goes, that they're caused by a problem in the gut microbiome, and imbalance. Strange as that sounds, it's going to hold out, it seems like. And what does that mean? Well, it turns out that certain plants put out a protein called lectin, a series of proteins. There's more than one, gluten being an example, but please don't take this as your problem solely caused by gluten. That would be a partial and probably insufficient solution because there are multiple lectins and you need to address them in your life, in my opinion, and that is the critical path to the cause of your type 2 diabetes. So these plant lectins go into the gut as part of the food you eat, and they go out to the lining of the gut, and the nature of these proteins bind to the sugar in the lining of your gut and causes it to break apart, causing leaky gut. That is the act. The dams burst loose, and food products get into your system. They get into your um, brain and your heart and places they shouldn't be, they get. And your immune system responds, and it can be even something like autoimmune. But in your case, type 2 diabetes is part of the issue. Now, I didn't say that there aren't important other issues. I haven't been talking about keto or low carb or high fat or Atkins or on a goes diet, calorie restriction. I haven't mentioned those things. Not that they're not important and don't play a role. It's because they are, in my opinion, not the key path. They're not the path to the cause. And if you don't address lectins, you have a hole in your program and a hole in your gut, literally and most likely. So you got that? It's a lectin issue as the key path, not the sole issue. Likewise, there are things like vitamins and medicines, and they can help the situation. But my question to you is, do they address the key path? Can they take you on another path, and that path be good for you? Or is it just stamping out signs and symptoms and not addressing with the original problem or the key problem? So the key cause is lectin. So do you have a lectin strategy, a lectin avoidance strategy? If you don't, I think you ought to consider Dr. Gundry. Stephen Gundry came up or emphasized, wrote two good books about lectins and diet and stuff like that. It's not simple. Remember the card that I showed you? This is a simpler approach, but it's just not as effective, in my opinion, and certainly didn't help me. But the lectin diet the Gundry-Lectin approach did help me. So Dr. Gundry has these books. You might want to consider either one of his books. He has a third one coming out soon, or fourth one. Read them all and start looking at gut issues, of which lectins are your critical path. So come up with a lectin strategy. You'll have to get his book and read and take notes. And like I said, it's not all that easy, in my opinion. It's certainly not as easy as this, but it's worthwhile, addresses the cause, and you are up to it. Good luck to you, and be well.